Calling the meeting to order of the Sandwich Public Library District Board of Trustees, Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. We'll begin with roll call. Jen?
Here.
Nancy?
Here.
Julie?
Here.
And myself. And Barb, Director? Here. Any additions, deletions, or changes to our agenda tonight? Okay, hearing none, we're going to go right on to the section called Board Election Results, Vacancies, and Inductions. So before we begin this, first of all, I just want to thank all the candidates who ran for the Board of Trustees. For those of you in the audience that aren't aware of what the process is, those people that were interested in becoming trustees on the board were required to take out petitions and submit those along with their application, and then they were placed on the ballot. So thank you to all those candidates who ran on the ballot for the Library Trustee Board. The election results this year resulted in 4-year terms for myself, Jane Wolf, for Nancy Schroeder, for Sheila Thompson. At this time, we have had a board member resignation. Sheila Thompson has indicated that for personal reasons, she will not be able to serve on the board. So we will be talking about that further on the agenda about how we replace Sheila. The next item on the agenda is to induct the elected board members. So our Vice President, Nancy Sanders, will preside over the induction. And Nancy Schroeder, if you come forward.
Well, it's better than it was. Okay. Oath of office for the state of Illinois and the county of DeKalb. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Yeah, I do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the state of Illinois.
The Constitution of the state of Illinois.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of library trustee.
Of library trustee.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You may join us at the table. Okay, yeah, go ahead, we'll have a seat right there. Thank you. Let's give him a hand. Yes. The next item on our agenda then is a declaration of our vacancies. We have 2 vacancies at the board at the present time. One of those vacancies is for a 2-year unexpired term. The other vacancy will be to replace Sheila Thompson for a 2-year term. I will need a motion, first of all, for the unexpired 2-year term. We have, as our trustee vacancy appointments, our board is able to appoint for those positions that are vacant. So the board will be appointing Matthew Jones for the unexpired 2-year term. And at this time, I would need a motion to appoint Matthew to the 2-year unexpired term.
Also moved.
Nancy Sanders moves to appoint Matthew Jones for the 2-year unexpired term. Need a voice vote on that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. At this time, we are going to ask Matthew Jones to come forward. Matthew. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of library trustee
of library trustee
according to the best of my
according to the best of my ability.
congratulations.
Thanks for joining us now.
The next vacancy that we will be filling is an appointment to fill the vacancy of Sheila Thompson. So at this time, I would need a motion to appoint Heather Lee as a replacement for the vacancy of Sheila Thompson.
I know.
Jen Penn moves, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Heather Lee, if you come forward.
What do you want me to break?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I,
not fun.
don't make
We're
me
here
move. Thank you so much.
We're gonna walk over and meet Jane and then.
All right, put the camera
Right.
on. Am I good?
You're good.
Okay.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of library trustee
of library trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Okay.
The next item on our agenda is the nominating committee. I will be serving on the nominating committee for those, to determine a slate of officers for the 25 to 27 slate of officers. So I have asked Nancy Sanders as vice president to join me on the nominating committee. Do you accept, Nancy?
I do.
Okay, very good. That takes care of all of our board election information. So we'll be moving on to the section of our agenda, which is a presentation from Sean Azashi.
Do you plan to have audience to visitors?
Yes, after the presentation. Of Progressive to present on our upcoming electric and gas cost estimates.
Oh,
Welcome, Sean.
thank you. Here tonight to talk about the current electric contract that's coming to an end with the June meter readings with ComEd. Your natural gas contract goes through next June, so we recommend staying on that program. We've itemized the budget, sent that over to Barb. The main thing that's occurring right now in ComEd is that there's a higher cost for capacity. It's the standby generation cost. And when we went out for bids with 10 retail electric suppliers, all of the pricing came back higher than what ComEd's tariff rate is going to be. So we're recommending that under the next 12 months, the library go back to ComEd under their tariff rate pricing, and then we'll revisit costs, following this existing 12-month term as we see fit with pricing. So we never want to put the library in a negative position or have you pay higher costs when there's potential out there. The district does have an automatic saving mechanism that is in place with the community solar program. So there is savings that the library is receiving based on the 20% reduction on the community solar program. That cost will be going up higher because ComEd's price to compare is going up, as well as something we've talked about previously for the board members is the carbon-free resource adjustment, which is on the delivery side. That cost component was a large credit 2.5 years ago that went to a large charge. Because of the higher pricing, that charge will be a credit again on the delivery section. So there are built-in mechanisms in place to keep the cost as low as possible. But right now, a supplier is not a viable option for the library. So we recommend going back to ComEd, and then we'll assess what the options are after the next 12 months. That's the presentation. Any questions?
So Sean, we're still getting our solar credits,
Yep.
and then we'll continue to see the multiple bills.
Yes, yeah, as of right now, there might be some changes. Some of the solar developers under the new law that was passed in 2021 are starting to transition to a single bill option on the ComEd delivery side. So we're just waiting through the older fields that have been on for 3-4 years to cycle through that. So there's no guarantee, but there's a lot of talk. So right now you'll still get the 2 bills, one from US Solar for each field, and then you'll get the ComEd bill. So it'll be 3 bills total. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Mhm. The next section of our agenda is public comment. Before we begin public comment, a few guidelines. All remarks should be addressed to the board rather than to any individual trustee. Neither the board nor the director is expected to respond. This is your time to speak. To promote decorum and mutual respect, members of the public are expected to refrain from displays of approval or disapproval, such as applause or laughter when a speaker is addressing the board. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. A trustee of the board will keep time. Please wait for her signal to begin, and tonight it will be Jen Penn. It is the responsibility of the board representative alone to notify a speaker when time has expired. If the speaker does not give back the floor to the board president will remind them that they are out of order. It is out of order for other members of the public to call for a speaker to stop. Please refrain from speaking before, during, or after someone else's public comment and allow the board president to moderate. The board president retains the right to stop any speaker who uses profanity or abusive language during public comment. If the speaker has a request of the board, this should be made within the 3 minutes of allotted speaking time. Speakers may contact the director or board president by email for an appointment to discuss any public comment. At this time, we'll begin with our public comment. First is Elsie Morrissey.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Elsie.
Okay.
Thank you. Again, I ask that the Sandwich Library Board begin their meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Doesn't take very much, and provides unity and in praise of our nation and the taxpayers that support the library. And I want to tell you that I have been in contact with Bill Kolb, K-O-L-B, who is the commander of our neighbor, the VFW next door. And he is aware that I have asked for this many times. And he is and his board or his, whatever you call it, at the VFW, it would be pleased if you started your meetings with the pledge. Okay, that's one thing. Then I wanted to tell you about an experience I've had. I have been reading this book, which is a book about women during World War II. And I started reading it in public places, like doctor's offices, or eye doctor, when you're waiting for something and you're waiting for a long time and you want to read your book. And I've been reading it in the McDonald's playroom. And I wanted to tell you that every time I read a book in public, someone comes up to me and says, "What are you reading? What's the book about?" And I sit and have a very nice conversation with them about what I'm reading, what the book is about, where I got the book. "Oh, gee, that sounds good." And they tell me about something they've been That happened to me at the Vaughn Center in Aurora when I was there for my granddaughter's tennis lesson. And a man came and he wanted to know what I was reading. This happens every time to me. And then I kind of noticed that in the doctor's office at the Brenner Eye Clinic, I was reading, and as people left, they said, "Oh, what are you reading?" And then we had enough. And then I looked around at people that were playing with their phones as they were waiting for their eye doctor appointment. And nobody bothers them. It's a very isolating experience. Nobody asks, "Oh, what Facebook post do you have? And how many followers do you have?" Nobody. And so I'm challenging Julie and the library for a project to, read in public, see what happens. And that be a project for the library and people can
Thank you,
cut
Elsa.
down.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next is Leah Richards.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Hi, thank you so much for having us here tonight. I first want to say I'm Leah, I've never been to one of your board meetings, and I am associated with Natural Collective, and as you probably know us very well from the past month. I'm up here to extend for myself and the store and everyone who works at the store, a big thank you to the Sandwich Library, the board, for the immense amount of support that you guys have given us with allowing us to have the metaphysical classes here and just allowing us to provide a service to the community that maybe not other libraries would want in their spaces. It really does show that Sandwich is quite multicultural, multi-diverse as well. And it truly shows that, just like our Constitution states, there is a little bit of separation between beliefs and constitutional facilities and faculties. I thought there would be some more people from the side that didn't want us here, so I had a full thing prepared and whatnot, but I'm going to do that for now because I don't need to have that in front of me. So what I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna make this short and brief. For myself and Natural Collective, thank you for putting your best foot forward, and thank you so much for standing with us and allowing us to have the classes and kind of taking the brunt of negativity and judgments and all of these things and supporting a local store that brings a lot of joy to myself and a lot of joy to a lot of people in the community that really sometimes don't know that they fit in any other place. So I will make this short and brief. Thank you. You have our backing and our support. And thank you for allowing us to continue the classes. It means the world to myself, and I know it means the world to Wendy, Todd, Mar, and the rest of us back there. So thank you for your time, and thank you again so much for the support. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Leah. Becky Clemens.
Hello. So congratulations to the newly placed board members, very cool, and thank you for people that are still there, that's really cool too. The reading in public places sounds like a really great thing, actually, to get people talking, and you can be reading a topic and maybe somebody will say, "Hey, I like yoga," or "I like to make different kinds of sandwiches," and stuff like that. Natural Collective classes, thank you also for supporting that cause and having those classes here, and I keep meaning to attend them, and I need to get my booty down there and get my booty to the, there to support them, so thank you, that was it.
Thank you, Becky. Okay, we are moving on then to our action item, which is our consent agenda. First thing I need to ask, is there anything that anyone would like to remove from the agenda?
Just have a couple of corrections,
Mhm.
but not any removals.
Okay,
So on the general meeting of the library board of trustees minutes from April 8th. Under new business. In the copy that I received under letter B, it says appointing a two-year term trustee, and then there's a blank afterward. And, that blank should not be there, I understand. In Julie's copy, it says trustee as well, but in the translation from her Google Doc to what I have. So we just need to verify that that's not a blank and it says as well as the minutes, originally wrote. And then on the, finance committee. Let me back up. On both the policy and personnel committee minutes, it states the chair. But on the finance committee minutes, it just says all committee members. So, just for continuity, making sure that we designate who the chair is in each committee meeting. No, just 2 minor corrections there.
Okay, thank you, Jen.
I talked to Julie earlier and told her about just a correction. To change at the top of the May 7th one, it said policy instead of personnel. I don't know if I need to say that right now because Sharon knows about it, but it was just a correction also. Yeah, May 7th, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. Okay, then I need a motion to approve consent agenda with the corrections.
I'll move.
Jen moves to approve consent agenda. This will be a roll call vote. So we're going to start with Heather. Heather,
I
Jen,
Aye.
Nancy,
I,
Julie,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
And I say aye. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on then to old business. And I'll turn that over to our director, Barb.
So first item is emergency action guide project progress. Last month, Scott Harrod had sent me an email about an update for the USPS address, saying that it had been incorrect in the draft. That has been fixed. And the newest additions and edits that I've made were on the tornado watch warning pages, personal injury update, winter storm watch and warning update, and a missing child update. So all those sections have been looked at and reviewed and edited. You will get continuous updates for that each board meeting moving forward until it's complete.
Very
Yes.
good.
Does anybody have any questions on the new sections? Okay.
Looks good, Barb.
Once again, I too want to just congratulate you, Barb. So far, looking good.
yes, Barb, very, very,
Lot of work.
yeah, very
Yes.
nice job.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, moving on then to IMLS, and maybe you could define for us what is IMLS.
Yes, IMLS is an acronym for the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is a federally run program where they provide funding for different programs for libraries and for museums. Last month, I went over in more detail how the executive order that went into place to defund IMLS, or at least was put out, it's being challenged in court right now, would severely harm the Rails program that we have here, which offers all of our shared collections across our consortium. So within our consortium, we share a collection with over 100 other libraries, all different types of libraries, excuse me. And we get deliveries here at Sandwich every weekday, Monday through Friday. If our IMLS funding got cut and Rails was impacted by that, all of their delivery fees are funded through IMLS. So there is potential that we would lose the service to provide shared collections, which is really impactful. It is half of our circulation statistics once a month. It would be very, very harmful for our library and across the state, actually. There has been good news since that initial executive order was signed, which there's been a series of 21 plus lawyers that have gotten together to
partner with ALA to kind of fight against the executive order to in effort to stop the dismantling of IMLS. But all of the people who are working in the office have been asked not to continue their jobs. So money is kind of staggered in flow. Not a lot of people have been getting it, even though a lot of that funding has been approved in the federal budget through September. With nobody working in the office, we don't know what that means in terms of when they're going to get it. So I don't know what that's going to look like. There has been a lot of communication with the Illinois State Librarian, Alexi Julianis, and he is working very closely with Rails to see if there's anything that the state could help do to make sure that we continue and maintain delivery services. And that's looking very, very promising. So more updates for that will come. We do have a page on our website dedicated to this information. So if any members of the public or board want to continue monitoring information as it gets updated, please feel free to look at that website or just call us if you have any questions. We can help answer to the best of our ability. But right now it's looking pretty good in terms of, I don't think there's going to be an interruption of delivery flows, at least through this year. Future remains uncertain, but we'll see.
Very good. Okay.
And lastly, the Windows replacement that we approved of a few months ago, that has been scheduled for May 22nd and May 23rd. A and B Exteriors will be coming in to replace the entire window bay unit over here that has been leaking pretty dreadfully during storms. The building itself will be closed to the public in order to make sure that nobody gets unintentionally hurt with the hazards that work environments may cause, but services will still be open. So staff will still be on site. We will still offer curbside delivery and we'll still be open on the phones for anybody who has questions.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Cheering.
Yeah.
Yay, no more flooding.
The other one, yeah.
Yes.
All right, then we'll move on to the section called Director's Report. So keep at it. Keep
More
going.
updates.
Keep going.
Yes. So last month, the Finance Committee and myself had met a few times to discuss altering the way the library has stored a lot of our savings and our CDs. And the board did approve an ordinance to move forward with dismantling some IDs to transfer that money into Illinois funds. That process has started. The two FNBO CD accounts that were going up in May, one of them has officially been closed. That money has been transferred over. The ELS account, that $1,500, that's been closed. That is moved over to Illinois funds. And the next CD maturity date starts on May 18th. So that's going to continue as well. The money market account, I have to go into Old National to meet in person for an appointment to get that money transferred over, and that's in progress. So we're making good headway on that. Any questions?
Let the interest come.
Let the interest come, yes. Staff evaluations are going to be beginning for June. We're coming up to the end of our fiscal year. June is the last month. And I have tried to meet every month with our senior staff members for just a check-in, a one-on-one. And the CERC staff has worked with Larry, their CERC manager, quarterly. So I'll be working with Larry and we're going to do our annual reviews with everybody in the next 2 months and then move forward from there.
Oh.
And lastly, outdoor light maintenance. So the globe lights that are stationed over the signs, Mike had noticed that some of them were broken. There were some that were hanging just by wires, like open, what? Yeah, bad problem. So I contacted Yellow Jacket Electrical Services through Salmonac to come in and take a look, and they were able to fix the lights so that there's no more open wire that's hanging out and kind of restructure the globes so that all is safe. However, they're not fully working and will likely need to be replaced.
So are these the lights that are on the signage out by the street?
Yeah.
And the ones over the signs on the building over here?
My understanding is it's one of the three that are on the front and two of the three that are on the side sign. but Yellow Jacket came and looked at all of them, so they won't appear broken to you. They also suggested that the type of light it is, it's retaining water in the globe, which is not what you want with electrical panels. So they were saying we should adjust it anyway, potentially look at new upgrades so that we can go an LED route and have a structure of a light that won't retain water in storms. They're going to be doing some research for me to help find quotes that hopefully won't be astronomical to fix those, but that could be a potential project for next year.
Were they able to tell what caused it? Was it just weather, time?
Time, all of the above. Yeah. Just like some of the metal casings fully snapped. We do get severe winds out here. That's not, it was not vandalism, no. From what we could
Okay,
Okay, so that's.
put it on the list.
put it on the list.
On the list.
Yep. Okay, so that takes care of the director's report, but we're gonna go right into new business, and Barb, you're gonna tell us all about summer reading.
Yes, I'm so excited.
There you go. Let's talk about the good stuff.
Yes, this is very good stuff. Summer reading theme for 2025, fairy tales and folklore. Now I want to give a big shout out to my team, Emily, Michaela, and Jess, for really coming together and planning out what I believe is going to be a spectacular summer reading program. We've received more sponsorship donations this year than we have any year in the past. They've done a lot of diligent work. I want to give a shout out to previous staff member Bailey McGee, who we hired to do all of the designs for our marketing and our t-shirts and all of that, which is so beautiful. I can't wait to share more. The website is updated. So if you want to go on the Sandwich Library website, there's a tab on there for Summer Reading 2025, and it'll give you a list of programs and events that are summer reading theme specific, what the actual challenge is going to look like, which is going to be the same as the last few years that we've done, and some pretty epic grand prizes for all ages. I really want to emphasize summer reading. We like to make sure every single person can experience it to the best of its ability and be rewarded for that. It's not easy as an adult, just like it's not easy as a kid. So we want to celebrate all of that. So staff have put together some really incredible package prizes. And if you complete the program, you will be eligible to put a raffle ticket towards whichever one you want. And we'll have a finale program as well in July, and all that information is available online. But the big one is our annual kickoff. It's called Once Upon a Summer. So cute. And it's June 7th from 11 to 1 p.m. We're gonna have lots of different things. We're gonna have a fairy walking around, pictures with the kids. We're gonna have stray dogs for a food truck. The police department and the fire department will be out here. There's gonna be a lot of games, a lot of things to do with the family. So we invite everybody in the community out for a good summer reading.
You said it was June 7th, 11 to 2.
11 to 1. Mhm.
Very good. And actually, Emily Whitkey is over here sitting there, but she is our adult services. I'm gonna embarrass you right there. But I know you've had a big part in planning, so good job so far. You're welcome. All right, so now our new business item is the working budget draft review.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, I want to reiterate that this is not a legal document, nor will it be. The board votes on it so that you know what the structure of the budget will look like, but it is not legal. The legal document that reflects the budget will be the budget and appropriations ordinance, and that will be presented in July and approved in August. So the draft itself is what we anticipate the money to be, with the levy money that we're going to be receiving, as well as anticipated income from service fees and grants that we know we should be receiving. And I've broken it down so that you can see what fiscal year 2023 to 2024 looked like, what the actual was for that, what we planned for the current fiscal year, as well as what I have planned for fiscal year 2025, 2026. There has been a patron comment from Scott that the fiscal year 23-24, how I have it written on this document, is confusing. And so that's why I wanted to reiterate, it's not a legal document. The legal documents will reflect fiscal year, the full 2025 to 2026, excuse me, title. So we're looking like we're in pretty good financial shape according to this budget. This budget does reflect the intended planned 4 extra hours for senior staff members for the adult services, youth services, and marketing coordinator, who the ultimate goal is to reach full-time. The idea of the staggering is to help adjust the budget evenly as we go, not have too much going in one places and end up hurting ourselves in other areas unexpectedly. This budget represents a quote from CMJ that has a replacement for all of the adult and youth computers, which was planned for this year. Next year, we'll be replacing the staff computers. I try really hard to go through every line item with meticulous detail. I call all of the vendors and ask if there's going to be anticipated increases in prices, percentage increases, or if everything's going to stay the same. I have those notes reflected in this working budget as well. Anything that is bolded has been reviewed. If it's highlighted, it was reviewed, but not officially cemented. So this is still just the first presentation draft. The next month in June, we'll go over the full working budget for approval. But in this next month, if any board members have questions or concerns on this budget, please discuss with me, as these are still kind of live numbers to play with. And it's looking good because we also have a new addition on here, which is a plan that I've learned through different directors' channels to aim at mindfully transferring money from our operating budget for the year into savings. So we're planning to increase our capital savings for future projects. That's been implemented at a 3% of operating budget for expense. And I also have represented here transfer from savings, which we briefly discussed, for $20,000 to do the microfilm digitization project for next year. Let's see, and even with all of those things, we still are looking at a $5,600 extra, what's the word?
Surplus.
Thank you, surplus to play with, which means we could add another database. We could increase line items for programming. We could look at benchmarking for salaries, making sure we're working everybody up to be at the proper benchmark for their salaries. A lot of different things here. We can play with that. And I intend to work with the finance committee and Jen Penn as our treasurer to kind of look at this with a fine-tooth comb and see how we can implement that surplus effectively.
All right, there's a lot of information there, so Barb's open for your questions.
Well, and I'd just like to say the finance committee did meet with Barb to go over it initially, and then Barb and I met again, and I just, again, want to applaud all your efforts, Barb, in just how thorough you are, and she's a very good steward of the money, so all you taxpayers, thank your library director. You just are very vigilant, keeping on top of things all the way through. One of the topics that we did discuss was, she has a proposed payroll structure that we're still exploring because of that benchmarking several years ago. We'll talk more about benchmarking, but looking at what a fair wage essentially is for the various roles that we have at the library. We want to make sure that we are still maintaining fair wages within each of the minimum, midpoint, and maximum ranges for each of the positions here at the library. So we're still tweaking the payroll piece and going from there. So you'll see some modifications, and then of course you're confirming more details. So, but excellent job. Like the,
She really has.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Any other comments, questions? And Barb always has an open door for you trustees, to stop, send her an email, let her know you'd like to talk about something, and she's always more than happy to do that.
Yes.
All right. So at this point, we are ready for an action item on our new business, which is to approve the upcoming fiscal year 2025-26 computer replacement quote from CMJ. And so Barbara, if you would tell us a little bit about CMJ and what this quote is all about.
Yes, CMJ is our IT vendor. They help control all of the technological insights for the library. So this quote would be to replace all 10 adult computers, youth computers, and then the self-checkout machine. I have some contingency line items planned for potential OPAC adjustments as well that they're going to help us with. And so this quote includes the cost for the materials, the battery support, and the cost of labor to do all of that job. Scott had sent an email requesting or asking the question of whether or not we need a battery backup for each of these. And I did ask CMJ and they did say it is standard procedure to offer that in case anything happens with a surge. This is the quote. And I want to highlight how much I do trust and respect CMJ. They have really been instrumental with helping keep our IT up and running and doing whatever they can to work within our budget issues. And they're very, very prompt with responses for issues.
They did.
I trust them.
Barb, but refresh my memory as to how long ago did we bring them on board? Do you remember? Has it been
I think it's been 3 or 4 years now.
yeah. Well, good. We all know how important all that technology is to keep it safe and secure and running. And so even though that dollar amount of $21,262.89 sounds like a big amount, it is an absolute necessity. So I would entertain a motion for someone to move to approve this computer replacement quote.
So moved.
Matthew moves to approve the quote of $21,262.89 to CMJ as a computer replacement quote. This is involves money, therefore we'll have a roll call vote. We'll start with Heather. Heather?
Did we need to open it for discussion? Did anyone have
Oh, we can.
questions or anything first?
Mhm.
Did we decide, because in the quote it talked about, are they going to take the old computers and recycle them or,
Yes.
okay, so that is a definite?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my only question.
Good question.
Yeah, they have that
Mhm.
stuff piled up in a
Right.
closet somewhere. Okay.
Any other discussion on that computer replacement quote? All right, we have the motion on the floor. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Heather.
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
and I say aye. Motion approved. Moving on to the committee reports, we'll have building and grounds first.
Well, I think Barb pretty well took care of that. She
Mhm.
Glad to hear, so that's it.
Okay. Finance,
I think I already mentioned, we met with Barb to go over the draft of the budget and we'll continue working together with that as needed.
very good. Personnel, we will be meeting in executive session today to be talking about personnel. So I'll give the trustees more information at that time. Policy,
Nothing to report.
okay. So at this time, that closes the regular portion of the meeting. I will need a motion to move into executive session. At that time, we will clear the room. And then we will be coming back into regular session to adjourn the meeting. So I need a motion to move into executive session.
I'll move to go into executive session at 7:14 for, do you want me to read the reason?
Yes,
ILCS 120/2 C1, the appointment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity.
We have a motion then to move into executive session, and what time is it? 7:15. So at this time, we'll clear the room, please. We need all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we will soon be in executive session.
Would you
Are we in? Are we ready? Okay, we are back in regular session, on May 13th, 2025. And it is currently, what time?
8:14.
8:14 PM on May the 13th. We are here to, give a personnel committee recommendation for our directors' compensation for the upcoming year. So at this point, we have had that discussion in an executive session as allowed. And so now we are ready to present that motion of the Board of Trustees. I need a motion.
I'd like to move to accept the personnel committee recommendation of a 5% increase in salary for Director Barb Posinger with a new salary of $67,582.79 for fiscal year 2025-26. And with that, additional benefits of $3,000 yearly insurance stipend, 96 hours, 96 sick hours, 160 vacation hours, and district IMRF compensation.
We have a motion on the floor. So at this point, any discussion? All right, we will now vote on this recommendation, on this motion. Roll call vote. Heather?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Matthew?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Jane? Aye. Motion carries, and congratulations to our director for her compensation package for the new year. At this point, then, we need a motion to adjourn. Yeah,
Could I just
Oh.
note that,
yes,
we discussed that the context for this will be given when the personnel committee meets with Barb to go over to review the reasoning and all that.
thank you.
Mhm.
And we had that meeting scheduled for May the 28th. The personnel committee will be meeting with Barb to go over her evaluation, and thank you, Matthew. Yes. So at this point, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Matthew moves at 8:16. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.